Hello everyone. So we have another organizational challenge with my favorite things. I had done a series of posts not too long ago on my blog. We did like 5 days to an organized crafty stash. I had done it on my blog. I didn't do videos for anything, mostly because I just didn't have time. It is on my list though to do videos for a lot more of it, just because we all love to organize all our goodies. But yeah, it's on my to-do list. But for today's one, it made more sense for me to do a video rather than try to do pictures and explain what I've got going on here. What this is all about is our coloring medium storage. And I actually have been doing this for quite some time now, kind of organized all the different coloring mediums, because if you don't know me or my videos or my blog, I love to color, and I have a thing about collecting coloring mediums. Like I love to have all the options and all the colors and all the fun things. So what I've done is this is the IKEA Raskog, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, cart. It is a kitchen cart, like you find it in the kitchen section, and I'll explain this in a minute. It comes in a couple different colors that I know of. When I got mine, there was this color and there's a dark gray. But I have seen people, before they put it together, they actually spray painted all the parts whatever color they wanted, which I like this color. This is why I chose it. Now I've seen people like spray it in white and different things. It looks really nice. But yeah, I got this from IKEA, and I actually got 2 of them. I use one for other things, and I love it. This was totally worth every penny. It was only Canadian. It was maybe $80, $79. That seems to strike a bell. The sections are somewhat adjustable when you put it together. You can make it so like this is higher or lower, obviously, and the bottom one you can kind of put up a little bit higher, I guess. And then, but once you tighten everything, these aren't going to move. So I just kind of kept it as evenly spaced as possible. And yeah, I devised a sort of makeshift cover for it. This is just literally an old towel that I use for like spraying. When I'm spraying mists and different things, I will lay this down either on my desk or on the floor and spray over it. So I use it with my coloring stuff, so it comes in handy. I used to have it just folded up, you know, stuck on here somewhere. But with a certain little someone in my family that has really taken a shine to all the goodies in here. It was fine at first. Caitlin used to just pull out all my different things, and she would line them all up, you know, on the floor and just play with it. Like, she's 18 months now. So at first that was fine, but then she started discovering like all my gelatos, which again, she would just lay them out, but it didn't take her long to kind of figure out how to get the lids off, and then she's trying to eat everything. So I love this system, but it's like putting a kid in a candy shop. So I found, at least with covering it, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind for her, and she doesn't usually even notice it. If I have it turned, because this towel doesn't completely cover it all the way around, like it only goes like this. So if I have it turned, so then she catches a glimpse, you know, the markers, then she goes after it. So I might actually get a second towel down the road. Literally all I did was I popped holes in this, and then got a couple large eyelets and put that through just to give it that extra strength, and then just some ribbon so I can kind of tie it. It's got a bit of a cover. And then yeah, down the road I might have to do a second towel to keep it a little more contained, because she's smart. There have been a couple times she's figured out, you know, yeah, you can pull the towel up and still get into it. But for the most part with her, out of sight, out of mind, and then it just saves my kid from eating, you know, the embossing paste. So anyway, so what I've done is in the top section of this, I just have a couple of metal boxes. I'm pretty sure I got them at IKEA. I'm not even 100% positive. I'm pretty sure though. Years. I've had them for years. I had a white one and a blue one, and they just happened to fit in here. So that's what I did. I just popped them in here to give some like space, some sections. And in the white box, I have just all my different watercolor supplies. So all my brushes, which are just in a little metal brush holder, like just a metal cup. Put all my brushes in here. My little collapsible cup fits in here. I have just a little random little box to hold my water brushes. My liquid frisket fits in there. All sorts of watercolor paper, like I have watercolor cards, my Tim Holtz Distress watercolor cardstock. All my Peerless watercolors, which I've already done a video on how I've organized these into the packages. My little cutting board, my Epicurean cutting board that I use to tape things onto. My White Nights watercolor palette, like my fancy one. That fits in there as well. Those are my Artist Loft watercolors. This is just a random palette that I got at an art supply store, like just an actual blank palette for down the road if I want to use that. I haven't even used it yet. So that fits in the back. And then more watercolor paper, a masonite board, scrap pieces of watercolor paper, larger pads, and then behind that, this fits perfectly between the sections, is my big fabulous Derwent Inktense pencils. So that actually literally fits, yeah, right between these two containers. So that was just luck. And then I've tossed my We Are Memory Keepers envelope board. And then on the other side, these aren't my coloring mediums. This is just how I've been storing my stencils. I did a blog post on my favorite things stencils. I keep them stored in a scrapbook album. So that's already detailed in my blog post. I have a whole organization category on my blog that people can check out. If I remember, I'll link to it below the video. Otherwise, go to my blog and it'll, under the categories, there's tools or an organization, storage, something like that. And I have that in there anyway. But yeah, all my stencils. So then on the second shelf, I have all of my Distress markers. And again, this tin was something I picked up locally at, actually, it was like at our home decor store here in town. This was in the clearance bin at the very back, so I got it for like $1. So I use it out of convenience. I like it for the markers. I don't like, it's, you know, got angled sides and that, so it doesn't fit in here very well, but again, it was $1. So yeah, I've got all my Distress markers because they're water-based markers. They need to be stored on their side. So I have those along with the watercolor paper that I've done like little swatches of all the different colors. So I have those in there. Not exactly sure why that's in there. So those, some odorless mineral spirits, masking paper, all along the side here. I should turn this around. I have, there we go, all my Spectrum Noir sets of colored pencils. Those all fit just nicely right there. More odorless mineral spirits. And then in the middle here is just another tray that, I think it was like a cutlery tray. Either a cutlery tray or like an office supply little tray. And again, it just happened to fit perfectly. And that's where I keep like my little thing of Gamasol, odorless mineral spirits, my pencil sharpener, the little jar I use to keep a sponge and odorless mineral spirits in. Again, I've done a video on my Prismacolor pencil info, storage, all that kind of stuff. So it's all kind of the same. And then I just have some random packages of random pencils, my Koh-i-Noor. And then along here, I just have, this is how I store my Prismacolor pencils. They're just soup cans that I'd used. I have one of those Tupperware safety can openers, you know, that break the seal rather than cut so it's not sharp. And then I'd spray painted these white. I've had these soup cans for, oh gosh, like 9 years, 10 years. They've survived several moves. And yeah, I just keep all my Prismacolor pencils stored in those, and then all my blending stumps and everything stored in another container. So everything is nicely organized. Okay. It's getting a little harder for me to get down here now that I'm like 30 weeks pregnant. Bottom shelf, I have Miss and my gelatos, which I had mentioned earlier. They're just in random little baskets again. I got these purple ones from the same home decor store when they were in the clearance section. So I keep the gelatos just stored in a basket, and then I have random different mediums. Acrylic polymer, a spray, my big bottle of Ultra Clean stamp cleaner. And then on the other side, I keep all of my embossing paste, the glitter paste, all those sorts of things. They're just literally thrown in here along with a mist because, again, yeah, missing lids, thanks to Caitlin. She was doing good about putting the lids back on, but yeah, now that she's kind of figured out how to get lids off, and then the next step was figuring out how to either unscrew them or spray, so I had to nip that in the bud. But yeah, I keep all my sprays stored in the bottom there, and then that's the bulk of my coloring supplies. Okay, last but not least is how I store my Copic markers, which are obviously my main coloring medium. I tend to use these a lot. I've already done a video on these little units by Studio 3, which have been discontinued. Like, the company itself went out of business. I had posted the video years and years ago. I'm not even sure how long. And not long after I got them, the company shut down, quit doing them. Then they came back. We're doing them, and then just recently again, I got the notification that they shut down, which really sucks because I had been holding off on getting more. I wanted to get at least 2 more because some of these little sections are really full. But I will link to the same company that made my ink storage, which again I did a blog post on. Yeah, you can just see the corner right here. From stampandstorage.com. They make marker storage that's very similar. It's just unfinished wood like their other units. So I will probably have to just switch over to those so I can have more space. But anyway, yeah, this is how I keep all my markers, my Copic markers and the refills and whatnot stored. This used to sit actually right on my desk. But again, I'm having to start to move things around to get things out of a toddler's reach. So having these back here against the wall kind of puts things a little further out of the way for her. So that is how I store all of my coloring mediums. So the things that I can link to in the description box below the video, I will. Like marker storage units, just obviously not this one, but ones that are similar. The IKEA Raskog cart. Yeah, things like that. So as always, make sure to check out my blog post because I will have a post to accompany this as well. So make sure to check that out. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.